Hello, this is TJ from TJ's Art, and today I'll share with you how to make this copper bracelet. Be sure to download the supply list. The first thing we'll be doing is cutting the copper sheet, so put on your safety glasses. The transferred images are about 2 inches wide by 1 inch tall. Using a marker and a ruler, measure your sheet and mark the cut lines. A clear ruler comes in handy. Using your tin snips or metal shears, cut out your shape. Avoid using the very tip end of your shears by moving your tool up and cutting a little past your marked lines. Then, to avoid poking yourself with the sharp edges, cut off the corners. You can use sandpaper or a file to dull any sharp edges. These small pieces can sometimes fly through the air and into your eye, so be sure to wear your safety glasses. Using a steel block, we're going to gently hammer the edges of the copper so that it lays flat. I'm protecting the surface with a shop rag. Remove the protective plastic. I hope you're still wearing your safety glasses. Next, we'll gently sand the copper so that the image will transfer well. Once you've sanded the surface, clean off the debris with alcohol and a paper towel. Clean your work surface too. You don't want that dust getting on your fingers and rubbing it into your eyes. Next, let's transfer an image. Cut out the image you want to transfer. You'll need a heat-resistant surface. I'm using my wood cutting board. I'm using my fingers to apply a thin layer of Genesis medium to my copper piece and also to the transfer piece. For the best coverage, alternate the direction side to side and vertically when you put on the paste. Place the transfer onto the copper sheet and gently burnish with your fingers. You want to make sure there's no air bubbles. Using a plastic paint knife, I'm pushing gently to remove any air bubbles. Next, I plug in my heat tool and allow it to get warm. I place a scrap piece of paper over the back side of the transfer to avoid getting paste on the heat tool. The heat is transferring the toner to the copper, so make sure you cover the whole edge. Then carefully flip over the copper piece and heat the other side. The heat tool combined with the Genesis medium sets the toner in place. Allow the copper to cool completely. Spritz the transfer with water, allowing the water to soak into the paper. Spread it again and then rub gently to remove the paper. Allow to dry and keep repeating this process to remove all the paper fibers. Once you've cleared all the paper fibers, allow to dry completely. Next, you'll need your metal hole punch. If symmetry is important to you, then flip your copper piece over and use a ruler to mark the hole placement. I'm just going to wing it. I'm allowing enough room for my eyelets to be set later, and I'm staying close enough to the edge that my jump rings will reach. I place the copper into the punch and then twist until it completely breaks through the copper. Then I untwist, remove the copper, and repeat for the other 3 holes. I'll use a ruler to mark where I want my holes to go. Okay, next we'll protect our image with diamond glaze. Just open the bottle, tap the tip to get the glaze to flow. I'm starting in the center of the image and then squeezing out enough to cover the copper piece. Tilt the copper piece, allowing the medium to cover the surface. Using a toothpick, I spread out the diamond glaze to the edges. Gently tap the edge to get the glaze to move over the surface. Once the whole piece is covered, allow to dry, 20 minutes to an hour. I let mine sit overnight. Next, we'll set our eyelets. Eyelets aren't necessary, I just like the way they look. You can see the diamond glaze dried nicely. I'm going to use the eyelet setter tip and my hammer. I have this kit, but find it easier for me to hold the setter with my fingers and hammer it. If you'd rather use the spring punch, feel free. They work real nice. Push an eyelet through the hole. Place it face down on your work surface. A cutting mat or a wood block works well for this by allowing the eyelet on the finished side to sink into the surface instead of getting scratched or marred up. Hit a few times with a hammer, checking to make sure the lip of the eyelet is rounding out correctly. Repeat for the other 3 holes. Be sure to keep checking to make sure the eyelet is closing properly. You might be wondering how I got the nice curve on the copper piece. I enjoy thinking outside the box and came up with something I'm sure you have laying around your studio. As you can see, a curved piece will lay on your wrist much better than a flat piece. What is this mysterious curve tool? An aerosol can. It's perfect. Simply place your flat piece on it and squeeze. The copper is soft and it will easily bend. And now we're ready to start assembling our bracelet. You can find steel wire at most home improvement stores like Home Depot or Lowe's. Go ahead and place jump rings into the main component. I'll be using approximately 2 inches. Anytime I use cutters, I put on safety glasses. You want to protect your eyes. I use the first cut wire to measure the second piece. Then, using jewelry pliers, twist the wire to get a small loop at both ends. Compare the loops to the jump rings to make sure they will lay correctly. Keep the loops open for now. Yours will look something like this, and you'll need 2 of these. Next, place your component onto a steel block and hammer both sides. This is to harden the wire, and it will add a decorative detail all in one. Okay, we're getting close to the finish line now. Next, we'll be assembling our bracelet using beaded chain, antique chains, and a closure. I like mixing and matching pieces. You'll slide the chain onto the hammered wire, then close the steel wire loop using your pliers. If your chain is too small to fit on the hammered wire, just add a jump ring to it. Check occasionally that your chain isn't twisted. You want it to lay nicely when you wear it. Add a jump ring to connect the hammered wire. Using your pliers, close the hammered wire. Next, we'll add jump rings to the other side of the pendant. Attach your hammered wire. Make sure you close it. Attach a lobster claw and your bracelet is complete. Congratulations! I hope you enjoyed this project. Now you can transfer images to copper to make all kinds of jewelry. You can make earrings, pendants, even more bracelets. Thanks for watching. Visit tjsart.com.